a little NBA Cup action
Yeah.
last night. I'm still trying to figure out how it was San Antonio lost by one, another game. They learned nothing about Steph Curry, apparently, from the first game they just played a couple of days ago. But there's a lot of teams back in action here tonight on the hardwood here, Nick. And what is your take on the NBA, this whole NBA Cup? Does it draw you in more because they changed the floor, or is it just a regular season game for you as well?
Well, we got lucky enough to see a real Curry flurry last night. Curry absolutely took over that game in the fourth quarter, but I love it. I think the Wolves court is probably the worst court in the country right now, that green court. I think it's reflecting off of guys' faces, probably the most complaints in the NBA for a City Edition court right now. But I'm actually looking at a different court tonight. The NBA is doing the Prince Edition court for the Wolves tonight, which should be a lot of fun. I think that's it's every game the Timberwolves play right now. It seems like they've got a different court, and it seems like that much around the NBA. I will say on the City Edition courts, the Pelicans court, in my opinion, was the worst one. I don't know if you guys agree with that. I think it's worse than the Wolves green one, but I'm taking a peek at the NBA tonight. Actually, I'm looking at the Wolves and Nuggets to go over 234.5 points. This is a matchup of two top four offenses in terms of efficiency, rating, and shooting. You got Nikola Jokic. Jokic is insane. He's back on a run right now. He started the season pretty slow. You got Julius Randle on a tear as a number 2 in Minnesota right now. Anthony Edwards is back and putting on MVP numbers. I think the Timberwolves are a team that, as long as they can figure out the point guard position, they're not a defensive team this year, even with Rudy Gobert kind of holding things down in the middle. They're a team that likes to run it up and play fast. So I'm taking a peek at the Timberwolves over of 234.5. And as I mentioned, Jokic has been on a tear lately. I'm going to look at him to go over 49.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I know he's only averaging 24 points in his career against Rudy Gobert, but since 2023, he's actually averaging 30 points. You add what he's doing with the assists and the rebounds right now, he's on a tear. He's on one of those Jokic tears right now. October slow starts holding this number down for him, averaging 36 points per game in November against a Wolves team that cannot stop him. We've seen it in the playoffs. The Wolves can stop Denver, but Jokic gets his every single time. That's what I'm playing on the Wolves game tonight.
How about a couple things on OKC, Nick? This is going to be shocking news to the whole world, a hot take here. But you know what, Nick?
Yeah.
No one's beating this team. You know, I thought just maybe they would slack off a little bit, maybe turn it on come playoff time. But this team is a machine. I mean, one loss on the season. Somehow or another, they lost to Portland. What are they, 11-1, 12-1? They're on a 7-1 against the spread run. So they're starting to cover the number, much like they did last year. I mean, this team is just like, but everything is really, you can have nice little San Antonio stories and this and that. But ultimately, I don't see anybody beating this team. They're doing it without their second best player right now. And Jalen Williams not playing, right? I mean, is anybody really beat them in a best of 7?
Yeah, they've had A.J. Mitchell just sub in, and apparently he's a true number 2 now as well. It's pretty much the worst thing in the world that can happen to the West for the Wolves and everybody else, because last year I fell for it. I know my parents are going to the game tonight in Minnesota. I told them, you're going up against one of the best teams in the league, but you're not going against the Thunder. So for my mom's birthday, you might actually see a win. I'm just like, the Thunder are insane. They can't be stopped right now. They're not a team that I have any confidence in anybody beating, especially in a 7-game series when we get into later in the year. But I'm going to take a little bit of a zero in on their first half team total of 60 tonight. It's a lower total for the first half, and they're going up against a Charlotte team that has no motivation to play defense, especially against an OT game or after an OT game last night on a back-to-back. They also Hornets give up the most first quarter points in the whole NBA right now. So put up a big first quarter, beat up the reserves a little bit, over 60. The only reason I don't like it for the second half is they might be up by so much that they take their foot off of the gas. We've seen that in a lot of Thunder games. This team, as you just mentioned, Scott, is unstoppable, and you never want to see an injury, but unless something changes, it's going to be really, really tough for anybody in the East or the West to knock off the Thunder this year.
Yeah, it looks like Lou Dort upgraded. He looks like he is a go-to. So the rich are about to get richer there with OKC here tonight. Shocker there. I'm curious. I'm looking at this Denver, Minnesota game. It opened up 241 and a half. Why was it bet down? Are we missing guys maybe not playing? We're thinking maybe Denver might sit a couple of guys, because that was a 6-point drop overnight from what it. And I thought it should have been closer to 240, 241. I'm kind of with you. It's just strange seeing that 234, 235 number. No.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, it comes down to three guys. Is Julius Randle playing? Is Anthony Edwards playing? And is Jokic playing? If those three are going, I think this number goes over 234.5. But make sure the NBA doesn't do any weird last-minute stuff. We've seen it a few times in the last couple of weeks with guys that weren't even on the injury report sitting out last minute. I don't anticipate that happening tonight. The Wolves and Nuggets are always good TV, and I expect that to follow suit. I expect the Wolves to bring their A game like they always do against the Nuggets as well. So as long as, like you said, check the injury report. But yeah, 234.5 seemed very low, especially after what I watched last night against the Kings team.
Yep.
Real quickly, Nick, what's going? I know it's not on your card tonight, but in general, what's going on with Indiana? I didn't see 1-11 for them.
Yeah, they've got so many injuries. They're banged up. It looks like they're throwing in the towel. A team that I think is just absolutely disgusting with what's happening is the Memphis Grizzlies right now. Morant is not there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's happening. That's a team I would fade right now. You could look at any team that's playing the Grizzlies right now and get in a number that I like probably pretty much every night.
You know it's bad, Nick, if you can play for the Pacers and the Grizzlies, that's for sure. Appreciate it as always. In-game live game day.